what to buy, where is the hotspot. Hi, I'm Edith from PropertyBank. Today, we are going to discuss about buying commercial and industrial properties for the first time. And in today's talking shop, I have Sharon with me.
Hello.
And Sharon, if you look at her, she's young, but yet she has 24 years experience in industrial properties. Glad to have you because then I don't have to do it alone. Starting off, we are going to talk about non-residential properties. So earlier I mentioned about commercial and industrial properties. So this falls under non-residential properties. So non-residential properties are essentially properties that you cannot live in. So it comprises of commercial, industrial, and hotels. Hotels, why? Even though you can live in, but it is really for short term. In brief, commercial comprises of office, retail, and shop house. And for industrial?
They are factory and warehouses. They are normally found in Paya Lebar, Ubi, maybe central locations like Bukit Merah, Jalan Kilang, and also all the way to the Tuas and Woodlands area.
Yes, indeed. So for office, retail and shop houses, most of you will know that it is more central in location. However, there are suburban locations where you can find some shop houses and retail as well. And have you watched our non-residential YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah, so that will give you an overall summary. So let's jump in. So why the sudden interest in commercial and industrial properties?
Firstly, there's no additional buyer's stamp duties, and there's also no seller's stamp duty if you hold the industrial property for more than 3 years. Not forgetting, there's also the impact on our additional buyer's stamp duty for our foreigners.
Yeah, in fact, that's a double jump, right? From 30% to 60%. It's shocking, but yet we see this time round the residential buyers start to pivot because some of them already own more than 2 residential properties for the Singaporeans and the PRs. And if you hear what we have shared earlier, it's about the entry point that you already save on ABSD and the exit point where you actually save the seller stamp duty if you are investing in commercial and industrial properties. And of course, just like what Sharon mentioned, industrial properties, you have to pay the seller stamp duty if you sell within 3 years. So most of us actually take this investment horizon longer than 3 years, then you will be perfectly feeling it's quite a good investment if you look at commercial industrial properties right now.
That means for industrial properties, we don't buy today and sell tomorrow.
So with the uprising interest on commercial and industrial properties, we have recently got investors coming to us, say, Edith and Sharon, we have 200,000, 300,000. And another one that came and said, I have 600,000 combined with my relatives. And another one who said, hey, I have 2 million. So typical questions as a first timer, they also ask such questions. Where is the lowest possible price that I can afford?
Yes, and also they want to know what is the highest possible rental yield that they can collect.
Yeah, very typical Singaporean, right? Actually, not just Singaporean, I would say that typical of all investors. Their mindset is that if I put in the lowest amount of money, where is the highest possible returns? So it can be entry level for someone with $200,000-300,000 dollars cash, or it can also apply to someone with that $2 million. And it's all diverse affordability that they have in cash.
And they also want to look at the building legacy, and also they want to buy a freehold property so that they can actually pass down to their next generations and to have a longer list.
Yeah, that's not just a first-time buyer. In fact, Sharon and I, in our company, we have people who have family offices, meaning to say that they actually build this family fund that can be passed on for generations and generations. So in fact, even though today's topic is targeted at first-timer, I would say that think longer and further. We have helped such family offices or even private investors that already plan a longer horizon with the first property and then subsequent properties that can generate income by itself, for a long time, to be passed on. So tenure, like what Sharon just said, so some will specifically look at freehold. So Sharon, we are here to help first-timers. So some of the questions they will ask.
Usually they will ask like how much cash we have to set aside to invest, and also what is the quantum of the loan that you can obtain. And bear in mind that all these properties, commercial and industrial properties, you cannot use your CPF to pay the down payment.
So this is unlike those of you who are used to investing in residential, you cannot rely on your CPF. So that means that it's also easy because you look at what you readily have on hand. And also for loan part, Sharon, do you know that for residential is only 75%, I think, for loan quantum, but whereas for
industrial it can be as high as 80%.
And commercial as well, 80%. And actually some bankers do approach us to even loan much higher. And especially you guys, if you have businesses, there are some loans that you can get aside from just based on your own TDSR. So if it is bought under a company. Can I not set up companies? I'll tell you yes. If the property that you're going to buy is non-GST. Most people do set up company for two reasons. Number one reason is that the property that they are buying has GST. So in order to claim the GST, they have to set a GST registered company to claim back the GST. The other one is making the company work like partnership. Like today, Sharon and me, we decide to buy a property. So instead of your name, my name, and perhaps she has children that she wants to also get them after 21 to add on the name, then it should be in a company entity. So that part, I think we can produce another YouTube, right, to share more on company setup. So to answer you do not need to set up a company if the property is non-GST. What is the lowest possible purchase price that you can look into to do your first time purchase of a commercial or industrial property? So Sharon, what is the low quantum property that a first timer can look into? Share with us your story.
Okay, I've done a property which is about 500,000 at the City Fringe Light Industrial, which is B1 Light Industrial building. This is a strata unit of 1,200 square feet. So this property has is non-GST, that means there's no GST payable for the sale. The owner is selling based on the personal name. And this unit, I have actually tenanted it out at 2003. So for this, right, they can get about 5%.
Yes,
yield.
More than 5% yield.
Yeah. And the unit itself has a long lease. It has a balance of 7 years lease balance. So it is a good property for investment.
Yes. So if you run a checklist for first timers, right? First of all, how much to afford that particular property? Remember, just now we mentioned about 80% loan quantum. Of course, you still need to do your TDSR. That equates to just $100,000. So can you buy any residential home based on $100,000 cash? The answer is likely to be no, unless you are talking about HDB purchase. Okay, so that's number one. And key points that Sharon mentioned is City Fringe, and it only costs 530,000. Would there be upside? Yes, because based on the low quantum, and it has got 37 years running, so it's still considered a rather healthy tenure for this particular property. So it's about, potentially it can just run into like 600,000-700,000. That's a potential, depending on which year you exit. But you do know that this quantum is really, really bite size. So with that, I would say that you did a very, very good job for this particular first-time buyer. And City Fringe, what else to expect?
So Edith, what properties do we have in our bank of properties?
You know it well, but you want me to answer this question. So Sharon has actually helped those with low quantum as entry level. So you only need $100,000 of cash, and of course you clear your TDSR. And I think we have really exciting properties right now, commercial, industrial, for those who don't know where to start. So just take for example, off the cuff, Freehold industrial, which is just 5 minutes walk to MRT. Freehold office, which is just 5-minute walk to MRT. A food factory, which is fully tenanted, and that yield itself is also crossing 5%. And food factories, it definitely will sell. Yes. And also on hand, we have HDB shop house and definitely shop houses. In fact, Freehold also. Yeah. Finally, if you are aiming for higher quantum, we have Suntec floors for sale.
Call us at 8333-1338 to find out more of our properties.
And yes, please, if you like our contents, do click to like and subscribe. So have a conversation with us.